Hi guys, how's it going? It's Clarice, and today I am going to show you a quick tutorial on how to do hydrangeas. I know I've done a tutorial on hydrangeas previously, and those were more like a pointillism kind of method and very loose. This method that I'm going to show you today is going to be a little more defined, but still keeping with the loose characteristics that I like to incorporate in my paintings. So again, it's not going to be a very detailed version, but this is what it's going to look like. So again, it'll be light and loose and romantic looking in nature, and I hope you guys like it. The colors that I'm using are going to be variations of blue and purple, as you can see. And I also tried my hand at the hydrangea that's like pink with a little bit of yellow in it, and that also looks quite nice. So we can try that depending on how this tutorial goes. So let's get started. I'm going to tell you exactly what brushes I'm using, and I'm just going to flip this sheet over. There we go. And the brushes I'm using are going to be my all-time favorite, as you know, silver black velvet, because they're fabulous, in a size 4, 8, and then just a regular round one. In fact, I might not even end up using the 8. Let's just see, because it's really big and the hydrangeas are so fluffy and I don't want the petals to be massively huge. So we might just end up using the 4 and the 1. Let's just see. Let's see how that goes. All right, so make sure you have your little yogurt container or a container of water ready to dip your brushes in, as this is going to be a very light method. I have my purple, I have my blue, and I have my red. And then I'm also using a little bit of yellow, as I said, for the yellow and red pinky version of this. And then I guess pick your favorite deep green that you have going for the leaves. All right, so we're gonna start. So what I normally do is, just to show you a quick reference of what I did earlier, I start off with the flower, and I'll just take the number 1 brush to get the center first, and then from the center I draw out the petals using the number 4. So here's what I'm going to do, and you will see this happening right now. So I'm taking my number 1, and I'm getting a lot of blue onto my brush. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a dot right there. Then taking my number 4 to make sure I have enough water on it. And I'm going to go and take very like a very faint amount of the purple. And from the center, I'm just going to do this. Okay, that's too much of a... I don't want the petals to be too big, otherwise then the flower is going to be massively huge. So try and get it to be slightly smaller. And I'm just going to, let me just turn it over, show you what I'm doing. Make sure the whole brush is on the, what's the word? The paper, and then drag it outward. And in fact, if you want the color to be inside, I would actually start from the outside and then drag it inside for some of the petals. And then just to give it some color variation, put in some of the purple. So you can get that nice half blue, half purpley kind of look. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this over here. And now for this, I'll take a little bit of that blue itself and do do something like this. And I'll also put that blue back in here just so it's a little brighter since we washed some of it away. And then these petals are still damp, so if this blends in with this, it's kind of a nice effect. So just make sure you have like a variation of blue happening. So it kind of blends in and you see that kind of, do you see how it kind of blends in, but you can tell they're like two different flowers. You can't quite tell where they end and begin. That's a nice effect. You want to keep that effect because we're doing this almost in an abstract manner. Oops. Yes, let's not fling brushes while we're working on this. That can happen sometimes. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then just because the water dragged the color out, I'm just going to put in more color right there. And do you see how it's like slowly forming into this pretty little flower that looks like a hydrangea? So I'm doing a little bit of a purple center here. Let's see how that works out. Purple center, so I'm going to do this. And then slightly to the edge here so that it blends in with this here. This petal, I mean, to the side. And then I'm just going to go back in and make it darker. Then I'll go back to my blues and just keep at it. And then I have more purple on here, so. And then from the outside, inside. So it's just like a variations of the different petals. Make sure you have different colors happening, like the purples and the blues. Make sure you do some of the petals going from out in, so like this, from outside in, and touching the center, so it gives you that gradient effect. Make sure they are still touching, they touch some of the other petals you've already done. Now I'll do the inside out petals just so you, as a quick reminder of what that looks like. Where should I put it? Where should I put it? Where should I put it? Let's do it here. So the inside out is like this. And again, the movements that you want your brush to make are pretty much like you're sweeping all the way down. Okay, let me just do this. Proper demonstration is coming up right here. Whoops. Shaking the camera. Bring that to a standstill. Okay. Proper demonstration here. So you want to touch the center, press down, and drag away. And this might take you some practice if you're not used to doing petals like this, but keep at it, and once you get it, it's the easiest thing in the world. So to get this effect is really not that hard. And then lastly, what I do is I'll just, once I have a few defined flowers with the centers, I'm just going to go around and do like light petals. Okay, this one's a little bit too dark, but you know, it's fine if you have variations in color, like I said previously. So don't shy away from it. It's watercolor. Sometimes you get some really interesting effects. Just go with it. Okay, I'm gonna dampen it, get less color going on. Then maybe get more of my purple happening. And just do petals all around. And because I want the blend, I'm going to go in areas that I know it's still damp and get that blendy effect. Add more water and then go beside it and do it. And again, it gives you like a, what's the word? A monochromatic feel. So you're using more color here and then you're using less color with more water. So it makes it kind of blend in that much nicer. And maybe even add a little bit of blue in there from your #1 brush. And then go into the sides and just add more, touching it so it blends in again. And this way you're getting a multicolored kind of effect happening. And just keep going. Like as you mix your color on your palette, your colors on your palette, you'll get variations of it. And that's also nice for the hydrangea because it's so soft and subtle and like a very delicate looking round ball of happiness, I guess you can call it. So I would just keep doing that all around. And as you taper out to the ends, if you go lighter, where it's just like a hint of color, that's nice because then it kind of looks extra romantic and it looks like it's just kind of fading out. So it's a really nice effect that I would suggest that you play around with. Again, all of this takes trial and error, guys. So, you know, you might try it the first time, you might not get the effect quite like how I have it, or you might try it again and get something surprisingly similar or different, but you might like it. So again, don't shy away if you feel like, oh, it doesn't look exactly like this. Keep trying, especially if you don't have the petals down packed. You're not going to get quite this effect until you have not mastered it, but at least have a semblance of how you would do a petal. So once you have that, then you're kind of sailing in terms of, then you're just rearranging the buds and the mini flowers that come with this. Rearranging as in planning where to put them and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's my suggestion on how you do the hydrangea. And I said I would show you the yellow and pink hydrangea, which I thought was really pretty. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Just give me 1 second. Let me finish this. As you know, I have a huge issue letting things go. So hopefully I can stop doing this like ASAP and not prolong this video. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I like this effect and I'm going to stop this for now and continue with the red and the pink. All right, guys, unfortunately, the recording for the leaves and the pink hydrangea did not come through. So I'm just going to do that really quickly. And sorry about this, but I went ahead and did the whole thing and then looked and realized that it did not record. So here it is really, really quickly. So keeping with my size 1 and size 4 brushes, I'm going to take some red. Let's just do that on this side here. Still a little bit damp. I'm going to take some red. Then using this brush, I'm going to take a little bit of the yellow and make some petals. And one petal here. All right, so essentially we're doing the same thing all around, and it's okay if you can get like a little bit of a light purpley red in there as well, or a pinky tone rather. And just do that. And then do it here. So you see how it's giving you that nice blending monochromatic kind of effect. Oops, I used the wrong brush. Sometimes this happens. And I'm going to pull the color down to the center. And add some yellow to the center too. So really you can add the yellow to the center or to the edges, like just, you know, if you want reference, have a picture of the hydrangea up, just so you don't, like if you want to have it looking more like the image and realistic. I like to kind of use different variations, not necessarily the actual thing, just as long as the colors look really pretty. That's what I'm all about. Because again, art is subjective and there is no right or wrong as long as you are satisfied. And really and truly, like the whole point of watercolor, I find, is like, yes, the satisfaction of creating something beautiful, but it's also so therapeutic and it's almost calming. And so for me, it's like, why should you follow what is right, what is wrong when it comes to creating, like doing your own creation? Like, why not be a little free and do your own thing? So that's just my take on things. Can you see this? Yes, you can. I'm going to bring this down, and then I'll just sort of turn this over, knocking that down so I can create more petals on this end. And again, it's the same principle for the blue one that I had going. You want to have it lighter and then start tapering, and if you have variation of the yellow going on too, put in some of the pink so it gives you a nice gradient effect. And you want the petals to be smaller at the edges, and then just make sure that it forms like a nice circle. Like I clearly have not done enough petals or flowers for it to end right away, so I'm just kind of trying to add more. Excuse me. And I hope you guys can see this, but I've essentially shown you the method. It's just about you executing it right now. So you know, you might be like me, that you just want to perfect it as much as you can, or you might just want to do something even more carefree than me, and just go with it. Either way, there's no judgment on my part. As long as you are satisfied with the outcome, I am happy. So I'm just going to try and add some here and there. And then just maybe towards the edge because there's a lot of yellow happening there. How did I get that much yellow? So I'll just spread some yellow on these areas as well. And some reds, or pinks rather. And so you see, hydrangeas can be very fun. They can be very frustrating. So frustrating in the sense because you might be a perfectionist and you might want it to be perfectly round. You might want to have a certain number of flowers in there before you kind of taper it off. So really and truly, it all depends on how you are ultimately. But, you know, this is my method of doing it. I hope you guys like this. I'm just going to do the leaves really quickly so you can see how I did these. Like I did super loose leaves and I'm using like a bright green and like a brown. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking the brown first, mixing it with a little bit of the green, finding an area that's like wet already so it spreads in. And then I'm just doing a very loose with lots of white space kind of effect. I'm going to mix in the green. You might want to go in and add some definition to the leaves. You don't have to. I find if you just add a hint, it kind of adds something nice to the whole painting. So then it's a very loose leaf, but at the same time you're seeing some sort of definition, which I think is nice. Something like that. And then, you know, if you have too much water, just kind of swirl it around. So that's how I would do the leaf, and I'm just doing one like super quick here. Again, there's just so many different ways to do this because watercolor is so interpretive that way. Like it's really a matter of preference, I find. So because the hydrangeas always remind me of something very romantic and like soft, this is the kind of leaf I decided to go with for it, and I feel like it goes really well. So you see, I picked the area that is already wet, damp rather, and so it kind of blends in with the pink, and yeah, it gives you that effect. So these are my hydrangeas, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm really sorry about the breakup, but what are you gonna do? Technology, I guess. So if you have any comments, I'd love to read your comments. Please feel free to post them below. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. I'd love to have you guys follow me if you if you have any questions, or even if you just want to interact. I'm a very social person, guys. So please feel free to comment. Yeah, comment and get in touch. Happy to help any way I can. as usual, thanks so much for watching and have a great week. Bye.